It's a local incentive with a real impact.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Greg Akagi with you. We're just about ready to do our Ag Issues program, not only live on 580 WIBW, but also on StreamYard on our 580 WIBW Facebook page, as well as our YouTube page, as well at 580 WIBW. Here in just a bit, we'll have Sarah Alsager on with us, the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global, and we have a lot of topics to discuss. So if I kind of go back and forth here between this mic that's over my shoulder and looking here at the screen, got to handle both here as far as the radio is concerned. And we will do that here shortly as we're hearing programming on the monitor. You can probably faintly hear it in the background as far as we're at playing some commercials here after we had CBS News at the top of the hour. And then we will have the Ag Issues program here shortly.
Covering Kansas's largest industry, this is WIBW's Ag Issues. News, markets, and interviews with those in the know. Now, your host, Greg Akagi.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us on the program this morning. And coming up on the Ag Issues program this morning, and also live on StreamYard, by the way, as well, Sarah Alsager will be joining us. She was the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global. And a lot to discuss, but specifically looking at the month of April as Soy Foods Month, but also some misconceptions about seed oils as well. And that will be discussed coming up this morning on the Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. Before we do that, though, let's get an update on the forecast. Okay, we're currently running the weather on 580 WIBW. And so this is a little inside baseball, as the term goes, that kind of describe what we do in between or what we're doing weather, when something like this is running, just explain it to you. So you're sitting there going, well, why don't we go straight into the interview? Well, we got other things that we need to do. And with rain falling in some portions of the state, much needed rain, by the way, as well. Everyone wants to know how much are they going to be able to do this weekend? Going to be able to plant corn or do any pasture burning as well? The answer probably is going to be not a lot with some of the overnight rains that we received. And this could be the first rounds of what could be several rounds coming up here in the next several days. So we're get to going here in just a bit, and we will get going with our interview with Sarah Alsager. So stand by, and we will be back with you here shortly.
Generally getting into the 70s across much of the state. A few spots that see a little bit more sunshine could get close to even above 80. And then on Sunday, Friday, showers and storms in eastern parts of the state with highs in the 70s. And then sunny and dry in the western parts of the state with highs in the 80s. This is the Kansas Ag Network.
All right, thank you very much for the update as far as temperatures are concerned. Right now in the capital city, we have rain falling in the capital city, 51 degrees at Billard Airport and 50 degrees this morning at Forbes Field. This morning on the Ag Issues program, it is a pleasure to bring on to the program Sarah Alsager, who is the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global, as she joins us on the program this morning. Sarah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. I'm calling in from the capital city of Missouri. I'm here in Jefferson City, Missouri, and what better reason to get up and be on the show than to talk about Soy Foods Month?
Well, the month of April is Soy Foods Month, and very much to celebrate the soybean industry itself. But the simple question to start out with, Sarah, why should farmers care about soy foods?
It's a great question. So soy foods really are about adding value to the soybean beyond the commodity market. So I think that's an important layer to add on to soybeans. So about half of US soybean oil from the United States goes into food. So that's a big piece. And then food products are also a major driver of exports for soybeans. And I think just as important, when consumers feel positively about soy foods, that can really impact the entire soybean industry. So if soy has a positive reputation, a strong reputation among consumers in food, that confidence really carries over into other uses as well. So when we build trust in soy foods, we're building trust across the marketplace for soy.
Building the trust for the marketplace for soy, and that has been a constant work as well as we have seen here the past several years.
It really has. Soy can be at the middle of a lot of different food and nutrition issues just because soy is used in so many different food products across the food marketplace. So right now, there are things happening that listeners may have heard about, like seed oils and ultra processed foods, and even new emerging obesity medications like GLP-1s. Soy has a place in all these conversations. And so it's an opportunity for soy to build trust in those conversations or to lose it. So we want to make sure we're building it. And that really is dependent upon the scientific support that we have for soy in those spaces. There's also great opportunity for soy right now because your listeners may have heard that a lot of people are trying to consume more protein. So protein this and protein that. And soy is a high quality plant protein that can deliver on some of those consumer desires. Soy also feeds a lot of high quality animal protein. So soy really has a great story to tell in this space. We just want to tell it.
Well, and that's probably some of the biggest things going on right now in the soy food space that definitely could impact demand.
Absolutely. We see that reputation really does have an impact on that demand. And so that's really where our work falls into the story here. So we don't want concern or confusion about soy foods to erode demand for the food or other soybean markets.
Sarah Alsager is joining us. She is the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global here on the Ag Issues program. Can you give us just maybe some examples of how soy foods right now fit into today's diets?
Yeah, soy really is very versatile. So you don't have to be a vegan or a vegetarian to incorporate soy into your diet. It can be the main protein on your plate, think like tofu or tempeh, but soy also works really well alongside other proteins. So you can add tempeh to your tacos with your ground beef tacos, or you can add tofu to a lasagna alongside other cheeses and beef or ground turkey. You can add like a miso glaze to salmon. So I think that sometimes it can be misleading that soy has to be the only protein on your plate, and that's really not the truth. It's so complementary to other things. Soy can also just be a snack. Like I pulled a couple things out of my pantry this morning, like some roasted edamame. Like these are great snacks. There are a lot of protein bars these days that use soy as the main.
Well, looks like we had a disconnection as far as what we're doing with Sarah Alsager. Hopefully we will get her back shortly, and I can talk a little bit about that. Nope, we got her back here. There we go.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But continue with your point concerning right now.
Yeah, so like
being able to incorporate soy in the diet.
Snacks are another great way to incorporate soy. So roasted edamame, fresh edamame are great snacks. And then another staple in your pantry is your cooking oil and vegetable oil, which is almost always 100% soybean oil, is another really easy and healthy way to incorporate soy into your diet.
It's amazing to think how much has been implemented in the everyday diet from everyone when just went, oh, why would we want tofu? I'm Japanese, so I know what tofu, I love tofu, be able to do that. But just how much and different ideas and different ways to incorporate it into your everyday diet.
Yeah, I think that soy can be unfamiliar to people and that can be intimidating. And I think tofu can be prepared really not in a great way. So if you've had bad tofu, please don't let that color your entire perception of what tofu can be like in the diet, because tofu can be amazing. So I think that maybe one way that people can try something new is when you're out at a restaurant, if you have, there's a dish that has soy foods in it, that's a cool way to experience something new that maybe you aren't as comfortable preparing in your own kitchen. But I think that soy is an ingredient in so many foods today. There are plenty of ways to support the soy food industry by choosing those foods.
And even you go back to simply soy milk,
yeah,
on what it is able to do. But, like many people would say, well, what does it taste like milk? Because it's all the perception of taste. And,
right.
And I'm sure other milks that are out there, you're just like, that's not even close to what it's going to be able to do. But the ability for soy milk to be incorporated is so important as well.
Absolutely. Soy milk is such a great soy staple, and it's so important for people who may have allergies to other milk products. They might be lactose intolerant. It's such an important option. And you're right, Greg, it's very similar in flavor and taste to cow's milk. It also delivers very similar nutritional attributes as cow's milk. It's the most similar nutritionally to cow's milk. So it's got about the same amount of protein. It's often, almost always, 99.9% of the time, fortified with calcium and vitamin D, which are other important nutrients that you would get from cow's milk. So soy milk is a great option as well.
All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more with Sarah Alsager, the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global. This is Ag Issues here on 580 WIBW. All right, we are in a commercial break here on 580 WIBW, and we're live on StreamYard. And we want to say computers are foolproof, but sometimes that's not the case, and that is quite all right. As far as sometimes you hit the wrong button, or whatever the case may be, and you know what, it happens. So
that's right. Sometimes it's out of our hands, right?
No, exactly.
Not sure what the interruption was, but here we are.
Well, and it's one that, depending where you're at, because of the fact that, and I'm sure Sarah can attest to this, you do interviews on the computer in some different places, and sometimes reception is good, sometimes reception is not good. So
that's right.
Or reception, I guess, your Wi-Fi strength in this case. So
I never know how much the weather impacts my the strength of my connection. Could be that too. It's raining here as well.
Well, and it's one that, as far as technology is developed, I think we're preaching to everyone here, but as far as technology is developed, you love it, but it's still not 100% foolproof. Would we love to be that way? Absolutely, but
that's right. And I shouldn't complain, because we have really great connection here in the central Missouri, and I know that rural broadband connection is a huge struggle for a lot of areas of our state and your state. So I shouldn't complain too much, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. Because you have been into the rural areas of Missouri. I've been to many of the rural areas in Kansas, and the ability to be able to have high-speed connections is wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real luxury when you get
Oh,
out into
yeah.
rural state. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, stand by. We'll be close to getting to go here.
We have another 30 seconds.
This message
Ten.
comes from Vikings, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore, and every Viking voyage is all-inclusive with no children.
All right,
no casino,
folks on StreamYard, stand by. We'll be set to go here shortly.
This is Ag Issues with Greg Akagi.
We are back on the Ag Issues program this morning here on 580 WIBW. As we're talking Soy Foods Month, Sarah Alsager, Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global, is joining us on the program. By the way, if you want more information on the Soy Nutrition Institute Global, there's their website, sniglobal.com, sniglobal.com. And Sarah, you had mentioned earlier about seed oils and soy oil as well. There has been, in the communications on improving things, there has been definitely misconceptions about soy oils, or about seed oils, I should say. Soy oil is among them as well. What should people know about soybean oil that maybe they have heard this about seed oils? That would include soybean oil, and what actually are stated facts versus what people have been hearing out there.
Yes, this has become a bigger topic than I don't think we would have ever anticipated. And the way that seed oils and soybean oil are connected, seed oils, when people are using the term seed oil, they're really just referring to liquid cooking oils that come from the seed of the plant as opposed to the fruit. So the most common seed oils are soybean, canola, corn, cottonseed, sunflower. So they're the oils that are in everyone's pantry. Like I was saying earlier, soybean oil is a staple in our pantry, vegetable oil. So this conversation has taken a lot of different turns on social media and with different kind of health influencers, but the science really matters here. And when it comes to the science, it's really strongly supportive of the safety and the health benefits of soybean oil and other seed oils. So soybean oil is recommended by leading health organizations like the American Heart Association, like the World Health Organization, as a good source of fat. So I think that in and of itself is such a strong statement for the importance and the nutritional attributes of soybean oil in the diet. The research shows consistently that the main fat in soybean oil, it's called linoleic acid, is linked to a lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even overall mortality. So beyond the fact that it's providing these good fats in our diets, it also has been associated with positive health outcomes. So despite what you might hear online about seed oils, don't be afraid of seed oils and soybean oil. The science really tells us a very positive story about those fats in our diet.
And it's not like this was just happened last year that they said soybean oil is good oil. This has been, and like you said, for soybean oil, other seed oils, this has been for many years.
Yes, for decades, this idea of reducing the amount of saturated fat in the diet and increasing or replacing with unsaturated fats like those found in soybean oil has been the recommendation from these health organizations. So that information and the science is not new. Just as nutrition and conversations evolve over the years, something has to be the bad guy. And unfortunately, there's a little bit of a target on oil's back, but the science is strong. It's been standing like this for decades. And so we really don't need to be concerned about the safety or the health benefits of soybean oil.
So Sarah, for the Soy Nutrition Institute Global itself, What do you do to counter that misinformation and to also help at the same time build demand for soy?
Yeah, so Soy Nutrition Institute Global is an organization that's comprised of farmers, food companies, and scientists. And so our role is really to make sure that the right people, health professionals, media, researchers, and other food companies have access to credible scientific information about soy. So when it comes to the health and nutrition effects of soy, we're the go-to source for the scientific information. So we generate research, we translate that into clear messaging, and we can respond quickly when misinformation pops up. So when things like seed oils start being questioned, we have the scientific backing and then the communications network to respond to those questions, or look into it further. You know, that's a really important thing about it too. Science, as I've learned, as I've been deeply entrenched in the scientific community through SNI Global, it does always ask more questions. Science is always looking to make sure that it can present the best data that it has. So at the end of the day, SNI Global is all about sharing that information. And if misinformation just keeps churning out there and goes unchecked, it can really start to erode that demand. So that's where SNI Global can really come in as a trusted evidence-based organization to share the facts and share the science about soy as a nutritious and healthy option.
Well, and that's like the equivalent of if you had lined up 20 people and you told them the statement, how much different is it when you get to the 20th person? But that's thus the misinformation of what we see on the internet and how quickly, I won't say get out of control, but spreads different things out there as well, that you could have 20 different types of misinformation that are out there.
That's right. And science is complicated. And so as consumers, it can be really jarring when you hear those fear-based claims that are being made on social media that really anybody can make. And so I think that one of the great strengths of our organization is that we work with top nutrition scientists at universities and academic institutions all across the country and in Canada as well. And so when you get to learn directly from those individuals who are doing the research and who fully understand the science because they've had decades of education and in-depth, knowledge of those topics, that's a really fortunate position that I have to be able to have, one-on-one conversations with those nutrition researchers. So the way that we can share that with the broader audience so that they can have that same trust, I think is a really critical piece of our work, because we don't want to get carried away with the fear-based social media content online. But at the same time, Greg, that's what a lot of people have access to.
Absolutely. And for all the work SNI Global does, that it really enhances the importance of why an organization like Soy Nutrition Institute Global is important to the soybean farmers out there.
Yeah, we are so fortunate to have support from the checkoff and the U.S. soybean farmers to do what we do, because without the support from the farmers, it just really wouldn't work. And we know that individual farmers have a lot of things that they need to be focused on their farm, and combating nutrition misinformation probably isn't going to be at the top of the list. And so that's, I think, the important role of this partnership. Through this organization like SNI Global, we can really be the voice and the scientific expertise that's out there in the consumer conversations, in the health professional conversations that establishes new research, that examines scientific evidence, communicates about it, and keeps soy competitive. So it's really about making sure that soy is seen as a valuable and trusted food ingredient and food for consumers here and abroad.
And Sarah, as we wrap this up, as we mentioned earlier, all that we've discussed today, and if people want to learn more about the Soy Nutrition Institute Global, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, so I think that it's great to check out our website, sniglobal.org. This is a great time of year to kind of dig into some soy food information and maybe try a new soy food. We're doing a lot of celebration and promotion throughout the month. We're doing some things at different Hy-Vee stores. So there are a couple of Hy-Vee stores in Kansas where some dietitians are doing classes that include tasting different soy foods. And I think we're also on social media. So like I was saying earlier, we really work hard to share the evidence-based information about soy on social media. So if you go to our website, you'll be able to connect to all of our social media channels as well.
All right, sounds good. Sarah, I appreciate you coming on to the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy Soy Foods Month, everyone.
That is Sarah Alsager, who is the Director of Communications and Outreach with the Soy Nutrition Institute Global. She has been our guest on the Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll get an update on the news headlines, and we'll check the weather forecast. That comes up next.